cutting but untying. And so the universe then has no choice. First attribute of the secret place. The secret place is a place of revelation. It makes you free because it awakens you and makes you consciously aware that everything that you thought was holding you is an illusion.
Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Emerge movement, where we are empowering you on your journey toward spiritual wholeness. I am your host, Isaac J. Miles Sr., and I am thrilled that you have chosen to join me for this morning's empowerment session and to have this conscious conversation that is designed to assist you in your growth and development in your spiritual walk and finding your purpose, being centered in your life and moving forward with resiliency and joy. I'm glad you're joining me this morning. Thank you for those of you who are already tagging other people in this broadcast. I'm going to ask the rest of you that are on with me right now to take about 30 seconds and tag as many people as you possibly can in the comments and invite them to come over and be a part of this conversation. Also share this live broadcast on your page right now, because those who are scrolling and watching your page will be able to click on and tune in to the conversation on your page. So go ahead and share if you will. And then also please do me the favor of liking or loving this particular post, this live right now. You can give me a bunch of hearts and a bunch of loves. That helps with the algorithm as well. So please do that. Those of you who are watching by way of YouTube, you can share as well. Just simply hit the share button, copy the link that will come up, and then send it out in your group text or send it out to all your family and friends, and invite all the people that you know to come over and to tune in and be a part of this conscious conversation. If you will also on the Facebook page, on the YouTube channel rather, to hit the like button as well there. That helps with the algorithm. Hit the like button as many times as you possibly can, and just help us to build and broaden our audience. Excuse me. To build and to broaden our audience and the reach that we have with this particular platform. I believe that we are uniquely qualified and positioned to be able to assist so many different people in the world who are meandering about in seeming darkness, trying to find their way, feel their way as they navigate this three-dimensional experience that we call life. And so I'm asking you to assist me in doing just that. Good morning to all of you that are on. Good morning, Toya. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, Dee Dee. I see you on as well. And there are many others of you that have not said anything, but you are just watching from the gallery. If you like, please just comment good morning, or hello, or hey, how you doing, or whatever greeting you like to. Or if you don't want to say anything, then you don't have to. That's fine as well. I don't know why my voice is so unclear this morning. I had my coffee, so I should be doing a lot better. But anyway, but just take a moment and say hi. Good to see all of you that are tuned in. Today's conversation, I decided to use the title, Life is But a Dream. That's a very familiar title. We'll get into that in just a few moments, because I think that it accurately states and portrays what it is that I really want us to hone in, and what the focus of the conversation for today is going to be. So life is but a dream. I actually designed a t-shirt that uses that particular theme. It's called Life is But a Dream. You can go over to HumanA-Tees.com and you're able to view that t-shirt, sweatshirt, as well as hoodie there. It's a beautiful design, and I think that you would enjoy it. So I'm going to invite you, those of you who haven't had the opportunity as of yet, to go over and visit the website. The web address is on your screen right now. Shameless plug, I know. But I designed this shirt that I think is just absolutely amazing, and it speaks to the topic that we're going to be talking about this morning. So go over, if you will, take a look at it, and you can order the shirt or sweatshirt or the hoodie, and it will appear at your doorstep within 7 to 10 business days. So life is but a dream. Let's get started. Let's dig in, okay? We all remember this familiar nursery rhyme. This is an old nursery rhyme. I think the first time that I heard it and learned it, I was in kindergarten. I think I was like 5 years old or 4 years old in kindergarten. Miss Angela Terrell. I remember Miss Terrell. She was my kindergarten teacher. How many of you remember your kindergarten teacher? I remember her because she's such a prominent part of the community there in Gainesville, Florida, even to this day. She's a magnificent woman, a super intelligent and gifted teacher. But I remember her teaching us this song, this nursery rhyme, and it was in a song. Y'all remember the song, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And once we rehearsed it a few times and everybody kind of got the tune and the words down, then we learned to sing it in rounds. She divide the class up, and y'all know what I mean. Just have one section begin, row, row, row your boat gently down your stream. Then the next section, row, row, row your boat. And so until all the sections were joined in, and we keep singing it until we finally came to an end where all of us would end with, life is but a dream. Wonderful memories from my childhood, and I'm sure that you've probably done that as well when you were a kid. I don't know about the younger generation now. They don't really do nursery rhymes anymore. But we did when we were kids. I don't know. Dee Dee's a teacher, and she teaches kids that are like kindergarten to second grade. So do y'all still do nursery rhymes? Do the kids still do nursery rhymes, Dee Dee? Put it in the comments. Let us know. Do y'all ever do nursery rhymes? If not, this is one that you should certainly. Oh, you still do nursery rhymes? Really? She says, yes, they still do. Okay. This is one that you should definitely teach your kids, and then break down what the meaning, the subtle meaning behind this particular nursery rhyme is. And that's what I want to take a moment and do. And then we're going to focus on the latter part of the rhyme. So the nursery rhyme says, row, row, row your boat. Row, row, row. Okay, this means effort. This means that you've got to be actively involved in rowing the boat. The boat is your three-dimensional form of this thing that we call body. It's no coincidence that our body is made up of about 70 to 75% water. And so every day, as we are actively moving, walking, running, we are rowing our boat. So row, row, row your boat, not anybody else's boat, but you are solely and completely responsible for your life, only your life. You are in control. You are the captain of your ship. You are the god of your garden, your boat. You're not responsible for anybody else's boat. You can teach them rowing skills. You can show them how to paddle. You can give them information, but they have to row their own boat. Everybody is responsible for their own life. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Gently, not, in frustration or aggravation. Gently, not forcefully, not fighting against the current, but learning how to just kind of go with the flow. Rowing becomes easy. It becomes gentle when you are going with the flow. This is a way that you can incorporate those 4 agreements that we've talked about before, about not taking anything personally, being impeccable with your words, just going gently down the stream, taking life as it comes, looking at it from a higher vibrational perspective so that you understand that nothing is against me, everything is for me. Life becomes difficult when you try and row against the stream, but when you go gently down the stream, go with that particular current or with the flow of life as it ebbs and flows, then you are able to move effortlessly through this 3-dimensional experience that we call life. Gently down the stream of consciousness, this stream of life, this stream of individual experience, this stream of unique encounters, the flow easily through them, then merrily not angrily, not frustrated or fearfully, not anxiety ridden, but merrily. That is that as we move and matriculate through this three-dimensional experience, that we should do so with joy and happiness and peace. That life is something that we should enjoy, that happiness is where you are right now, or it is nowhere at all. Y'all remember that from the uncomfortable truths that we did, that if you don't choose, I keep having this in my throat. If you don't choose to be happy in every single solitary moment of your life, if you keep thinking that happiness is something external, something to be achieved, something to be acquired, that I'll be happy when I do this, or when I have this, or when I achieve this, or when this particular thing happens, you will never be happy, because the goalpost is always moving, the current is always flowing, the water is always moving. And so as soon as you as soon as you achieve the goal or acquire the thing, then something else will be there. You have to choose to be happy, to live in joy and peace in every eternal moment of the now. So merrily, 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 merrily. It's interesting that they use 3 rows, but yet 4 merrilies. Row, the effort, that your joy should exceed your effort. Lord have mercy. That effort is important. You certainly want to engage, but then your joy, your peace, your happiness should exceed your effort. Because if you always have more joy, then you'll always be able to supply more effort. That joy fuels the fire of your dreams, of your vision, of the things that you desire, and the purpose that's driving you through your life. Merrily, 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 merrily. Then the last part says, because life is but a dream. And this is where I want to put the focus this morning. This is where I want to focus the latter part of this conversation. Life is but a dream. What if... Yes, Toya, that's absolutely right, Toya says. My joy should exceed my effort. Gratitude is my new attitude. That is absolutely great. Yeah, absolutely. What if... I want to pose a few questions, and I want you to pause and think about this for a moment. What if the life that we call reality, in this three-dimensional experience that we are having, is really just a construct of the soul? What if what we call reality is just a matrix that we choose to participate in periodically? What if what we call reincarnation is really just the soul's sleep cycle, where from its waking moments to its sleeping moments, and the time that we experience in this three-dimensional experience is the dream of the soul until it awakes to true reality and awareness, and then chooses to go to sleep again. What if everything that we are encountering and experiencing in this, what we call three-dimensional reality, is really just the soul's construct as it moves through its different cycles of rest or unconsciousness or sleep. And while we think that we are awake, we are really sleeping. And that when we come to the end of this three-dimensional experience, what we call death, and we know that that's an illusion because you never die, you simply change forms. But maybe we're not changing forms as much as we are waking up. That as we come to the end and transition out of this three-dimensional form, it is the soul awakening to its true reality, the world in which it exists. And it is awaking from that experience of the dream that it constructed, it created, and now is awakened from. And then what we call reincarnation is the soul simply going back to that unconscious state and dreaming another dream. That we are all living through multiple cycles of dreams, infinite, limitless, boundless, eternal cycles of dreams, experiencing the imagination of the soul in three-dimensional form. I know this is a little bit much. I just want you to contemplate that for a moment. I want you to think about those what ifs. Think about it. What if it's all a dream? What if what we are experiencing in our, quote, reality is really just a unconscious creation of the soul, and we are the visible three-dimensional representation of that dream. And you know from your own dream life that you can have a dream that feels so real that you experience all the feelings and sensations of that particular dream. But what if in this three-dimensional experience that we are having, we are indeed the dream? And that when we go to sleep is the soul's respite to experience and know and be consciously aware of itself in every place, simultaneously have an expansive experience until it returns to the focus of the dream and we awake on this side. I know I'm postulating a lot of different things, and to some it may seem silly, it may seem absolutely crazy. But we know for a fact that this three-dimensional experience that we call reality is not reality at all. We know that everything, even your Bible, those of you who believe the Bible, tells you that this world is temporal, temporary, that it is an illusion, that it is only for a moment, that it is not based in reality. That, and I've used this example several times through the years, that in what our present reality is, what we call reality, that in order to increase or have more, you have to add and multiply in order to get more. Yet, the law seems to be for the spirit world or the kingdom of God or the universal law is that in order to get more, you have to divide and subtract. He takes 2 fish and 5 loaves and he divides them and then subtracts and feeds 5,000. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That you get more of what you give away. That when you desire a thing, you have to give it in order to get. That if you give, then it is given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. So the thing that triggers increase is not addition and multiplication, but subtraction and division. So if that is the law of increase, the law of sowing and reaping, the law of compensation, the law of increase, the law of multiplication, acceleration, if that is the universal law, then which is the true reality? Does reality really exist in the spirit world? And if that is the case, then what does that make this three-dimensional experience? It makes this experience the dream, the illusion, the image and imagination, and the construct of the soul. The fact that we are able, by using these universal laws that govern the spirit world, the kingdom of God, to manipulate the three-dimensional experience in the earth. We're able to use or employ the law of vibration, the law of rhythm, the law of the perpetual transmutation of energy, the law of sowing and reaping, the law of increase. We're able to use these laws to manipulate our this three-dimensional experience in the earth, so that the earth will conform, all of the earth and the universe will conform to align with us. Then what then is the true reality? If this, what we call reality, can be bent and twisted and turned and manipulated, if the laws that govern this three-dimensional world can be broken, yes, they can be bent and they can be broken, then that which bends and breaks them, that manipulates them, is the true reality. And that reality lies outside of this three-dimensional experience, or emanates, rather, not lies, but emanates from a place outside of this three-dimensional experience, but in a higher spiritual realm that we call the kingdom of God, or the spirit world. If all of those things are absolutely true, then this life is the dream, and reality lies in the place from which the soul and spirit emanates, that is, within the isness of God, the all of everything, the ether, that realm of being that is beyond this three-dimensional form. That life is but a dream. Gnosticism is a terminology that was coined somewhere around the 1st century, when there first became a division between those who were classic followers of Jesus Christ, the person, and others who began to think outside of the box of orthodoxy that had been established for that particular time. It's a collection of religious ideas or thoughts or concepts or constructs and systems that emphasize personal spiritual knowledge above orthodoxy, or above traditions and authorities and rules and regulations. Now, aside from the strict asceticism, the strict asceticism or demand that you follow these, regimented rules, legalisms, and dogmas, aside from their strict asceticism and their repudiation of all material wealth and and the acquisition of things, the principles, the basic principles around Gnosticism align perfectly with our understanding of spirituality. They believe it is more so centered around Doicism, which is the belief that Jesus, along with the rest of us, are just an incarnation of God, a three-dimensional expression and experience of God in the earth. And they believe in what they call the human spark. That is, that each of us are that divine expression of God. Well, we know that that's what we believe as well. But at the substratum of that particular idea is that all of this that we are experiencing in this form as we roll our boat gently down the stream is encompassed in this idea that life is but a dream that we can control, that we can manipulate, that we can change and shift, that we can direct, that we can captain, a dream that we can determine its outcome. Life is but a dream. Are you understanding what I'm saying? That the substratum of the belief is that we as divine expressions of God, divine beings, an iteration of the divine in three-dimensional form as spirit beings matriculating and navigating our way through this experience, are living within the matrix of the reality that we have created for ourselves. Therefore, we have not only the capacity and ability, but the authority and the right to shift it, change it, so that it is suitable or aligns with our particular desire. What is it that we desire to experience in this three-dimensional form? Now, this gives rise to a number of things that I think are liberating. One is that it removes that inherent fear of what we call death. Because if I understand, recognize, and embrace the idea that I am living in the matrix of a reality that is constructed by the soul's sleep, that I then have created this lived experience for me to have in this three-dimensional form for just the period of my cycle of sleeping or unconsciousness, then I recognize that the end of the dream or the end of this life is simply the end of the dream, and that I'll be able to dream again. That I am simply awakening to the conscious awareness of the reality in which the soul exists, that is within the all of everything, within the dynamic unfoldment of God, and that I'll be able as an individuation of soul and spirit to dream again. So it removes that inherent parental fear that we have of the illusion of death. Number two, it says to me, or it benefits me in saying that I have both not only the capacity, but the authority to move the pieces of the chessboard of this experience within this reality around so that they serve me, so that they support my highest vision and version of myself. myself that I have not only the capacity, the ability, the authority, and the power, but the responsibility of creating and growing and cultivating the life or the garden experience that I desire to have in this earth. That if I am going to experience life abundantly, I have to first recognize that abundance is not external, but it is internal. It flows from within and then is manifested without, and that I am responsible for creating that lived experience, that three-dimensional experience of abundance that I desire. And I do so by incorporating the process of manifestation, thought, words, and deeds, by developing and creating, cultivating an image, an imagination, a thought, a vision, and then to begin to declare, speak, and interact with the universe, the elements, the particles, the nature of this three-dimensional experience, and then employ the deeds that align themselves with those thoughts and those words to bring into manifestation or to shift this dream life experience into alignment with what the soul truly desires. Now, if that is the case, then we have to look at the other side of the pendulum, which says that if I am, one side saying, if I roll gently down this flow or this stream of consciousness, merrily with joy and happiness and peace, then there is the equal and the opposite, that if I row forcefully against the current and the stream and the flow of this consciousness, and I do so with fear and doubt and unbelief and anxiety and frustration and anger, I take the dream and turn it into a nightmare, which is still a dream. It's not based in that which is real, but you experience the nightmare. Because like in the movie The Matrix, when Neo asks, well, what happens if you get killed in the Matrix? Well, you die. Whatever happens in the Matrix, you feel the full effect of it in the Matrix. So that even though it is an illusion, it is a dream, even though it is a spiritual construct, whatever you experience while in the dream or in the Matrix or in that created reality, you experience it to its fullness. But the wonder of it all is that you have the capacity to shift it from nightmare to the lovely dream that you desire at any moment. And that the moment that you began to awaken to that reality, when you began to become consciously aware that you are the linchpin, the captain, you are the guide for your lived experience within this earth, you get to determine how you're going to navigate this flow, whether you're going to roll gently down this stream or forcefully against the current. Is the moment that you began to take control of your lived experience and began to create an experience or plant a garden that serves you, that blooms and blossoms with all of the things that you desire and that engender joy and peace and happiness within you. I had a brief conversation with someone who posted about the whole allegory and narrative about Adam and Eve and them being kicked out of the garden after they partook of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And it says, well, the person was asking, well, why would he put them out of the garden after they became consciously aware of the duality of good and evil? Why was it necessary then to put them not only out of that garden, but to also make it so they could never return to that garden? Because that, and I answered their question by saying, because that garden was the place of inception, incarnation, when man became consciously aware of itself. Mankind, humanity became consciously aware of itself, and man became a living nephesh, soul, psyche, suke, consciousness. But that consciousness seemed to be steeped in only the full knowledge of the all of everything as it relates to the good, the perfect, the pure, the right, the righteous. When mankind became consciously aware of the knowledge of good and evil, not that it created good and evil. And when it says that if they ate of this tree of the knowledge of good and evil, it emanates, or infers rather, not emanates, it infers that good and evil already existed. Though that dichotomy, that duality already existed, they were just unconscious of its existence. They lived in this utopian space without a consciousness of the duality that existed within the universe. The moment that they ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they became consciously aware or awakened to the duality that existed. And at that place of consciousness, that awareness of the reality of the duality that existed within the universe, it also made them more consciously aware of their own divinity. And being more aware of their divinity, there was no longer a need for them to exist within that incarnated state, in that utopian space. They were then, what if they were not excommunicated, but released rather from the garden to go and recreate the experience of the garden in the rest of the world? Now being fully equipped with the conscious understanding of the duality of the universe and their own divinity, they could feel free to leave the garden and recreate the experience in the rest of the three-dimensional world. Now, all of that is narrative, and all of that is, of course, allegorical, but it raises some really important principles for each of us. Each of us enter this three-dimensional form in a utopian state, a utopia where you have a superior being, mom or dad, that supplies everything that you need without your having to effort for anything. And you come with a innocence that sees everything as good, wonderful, lovely, beautiful, and kind. Everything is flowers. Everything is roses, strawberries, ice cream, gravy train with biscuit wheels, until you reach a particular point in your journey that you become consciously aware of the duality that exists in this three-dimensional form. You eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Most times it's taught to you by a parent or by culture or by environment or a combination of all of them, and religion and other things that tell you their idea and their concept of what is good and what is evil. But it's not the concept that's important. It is the fact that you now become aware of the reality of the duality. It also makes you aware of your own divinity, because it says to you, you can choose to live in this or that. You can choose to be this or that. You can choose to experience this or that. That ability, that capacity of choosing the reality or the experience that you desire to have informs your divinity and makes you consciously aware that you can recreate the utopian experience that you began with in your infancy, outside of the barriers of the garden that you were incarnated in. Are you guys following what I'm saying? I know I'm using a lot of different terminology. I want to make sure that everybody's following, everybody's with me. So you have that capacity to do so, because it is your garden. It is your dream. It is your boat that you are rowing gently down this stream of consciousness. It is your boat. It is your vessel. It is your form that you are navigating through this three-dimensional experience that we call life. And you can merrily, with joy, peace, and love, and happiness, move through it with the full knowledge that it's just a dream. I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to be scared. I don't have to be filled with anxiety, fear, anger, or frustration, because it's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's not my eternity. It's not my eternal experience. It's not my infinite experience. It is just a dream that I will eventually awaken from, and that while I am here, I'm in control of the dream. I get to write the script. I get to determine how this book or story ends. I get to write the plot for the movie. I get to choose all of the actors and the characters that are involved. I write the scenarios for the dream. And if I happen to write a part that I don't like, it's okay. It's just a dream. I can rewrite. I can edit, I can reshape, reconstruct whatever it is and continue the dream. But it is just a dream. It is just a dream. I see some of you commenting. Let me address those. Diana says, yes, I'm over here getting my mind blown. It can be mind-blowing. She goes on to say, I think so hard about them when it's not that deep. I have been rowing my boat hard. We all have, because nobody told us this. We were told that this life is this life. It is the only reality that, and that life is unfair, and life is hard, and life is difficult, and life doesn't care, and life is this, that, and the other. But life is exactly what you make it. I know that's like cliche, but it is so true. It is grounded in an eternal truth that life is exactly the experience, the expression, the encounters that you create, that you cultivate, that you curate to yourself. It is what you make it. Life in and of itself, by itself, has no meaning. Its only meaning is the meaning you give to it. You give your life meaning and purpose. You give your life direction and anchor. You give your life every part of the experience that you desire to have. You are the captain that is rowing the boat. You are the one paddling. You are the one moving with this current and determining what your lived reality or experience is going to be while you are in this dream state. It tells you not to take yourself so seriously to the point where you can't laugh at yourself. You can't be loose, be free. When you don't become filled with regrets and grudges and holding on to things that only exist in the eternal moment of now, that at the next very moment they cease to exist, and they exist only as an image or an imagination within your own conscious mind because the time itself has moved. John asked the question, why do we progress from infant through adolescence, young adult, middle age, senior citizen, then death? Where in this life cycle do we become aware of our spirituality? What happens to the soul if we die anywhere along this life cycle before reaching the senior citizen stage of life? Those are all very good questions. Let me take each one of them one by one. Why do we progress? Because it is an unfolding story. It is an unfolding tale. It is an unfolding experience that we are having through infancy, adolescence, young adult, middle age, and senior citizen, and then what we call death, which is not a reality, but it is just our awakening from the dream until we begin to dream again. Or it is a changing or transitioning from one experience to another, a transition out of this three-dimensional form, returning to our true essence of being as soul and spirit. Where in this life cycle do we become aware of our spirituality? At the point that you choose to become aware. I know that sounds a little bit almost evasive, but it really isn't. Each of us in that dimension or state of being that we exist in what is the true reality within the isness ether of God, the all of everything, consciously chose to enter this three-dimensional realm of experience, or this dream state, or this garden, this Eden garden that we exist in. We chose to enter it, and we chose not only the time, the place, the space, but we also chose the experience, and we chose the time of our awakening. Awakening, that is becoming consciously aware of ourself as divine beings, navigating this three-dimensional space, being consciously aware of it. We are always unconsciously aware of it. We are always that. We don't become a spirit being. We are always a spirit being. That's what we are. We just become consciously aware of it, and we choose the moment that we will be triggered into that conscious awakening that we will have. So it differs from each person's experience in the earth. Your awakening may take place at a different time, a moment, or space and place than another person's, but each of us, what we would call unconsciously, in our pre-incarnate state, chose the moment and sent those present moments along as indicators or triggers that will bring us to that place, that eventuality of awakening. And sometimes that awakening takes place at the very end of the dream. Sometimes it's in the middle of the dream, some at the beginning, somewhere along the course of the dream. What happens to our soul if we die anywhere along the life cycle before reaching the senior citizens life? It returns to its original state. It awakens to the reality or the true reality of our existence as both soul and spirit. And here is something that people have a hard time wrapping their mind around, that I was able to garner from one of my conversations with God or with the divine or with the divine mind or the all of everything, or however you want to, whatever terminology that you want to use, is that the soul, every soul chooses its own experience. It chooses both its entrance and its exit. No one leaves this three-dimensional form or comes to the end of the dream against their will. It may happen against their conscious will, their conscious understanding of things, that is our conscious knowing in this form. But the soul knows what the conscious mind has yet to perceive. And that as you come to the end, approach the end of the dream or the experience in this three-dimensional form, the soul knows that time or that moment or that experience is about to happen and chose that time, tenor, and experience for itself, because it understands that life is but a dream, that when I awaken from this dream, I will dream again and again and again and again and again. You see, the experience is the point. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The experience is the point. The whole purpose behind the individuations of soul and spirit that each of us are as individual, unique experiences and expressions of God in this three-dimensional form is so that the all of everything can experience and express itself uniquely in form. And the experience is the point. The experience is the point. Everything else is minutia. The experience itself is the point. Okay? The experience is the point. So, yes, what we have calculated and constructed within our own three-dimensional human understanding or concepts about this thing that we call life, then we determined that a young person cut down at this age, we call it, even look at the terminology we use, cut down, cut off, interrupted, all of these things. And what we call the prime of their life is somehow, something that is tragic. It is tragic from our human experience, but from the soul's perspective, it is exactly what it has chosen. And I know that's a little bit hard to wrap your mind around, a little bit hard to take in. But think about this, that if we are indeed divine beings, we are an expression of divinity, and divinity is omnipotent, then could any choice, decision, or event take place with the divine omnipotent spirit that it did not allow? So if it is happening, it is because that divine spirit chooses to allow, not only chooses, but undergirds and probably creates the experience. Nothing is against us. Everything is for us. Everything is for us. Okay? So I hope I answered all three of those for you. I tried to unpack them as much as I can within the time frame that we have. Those are really important and powerful questions that we all should ponder. Okay? The purpose of this platform is to bring empowerment, but also awakening to those. It is the result of my own awakening, the result of my own conscious awareness of myself as a divine individuation of soul and spirit within three-dimensional form. It is my own awakening from the domestication that was imposed upon me by culture and religion and environment and family and friend. Okay? Oh, that's a good one. John asked this. So when does life begin? At conception or after live birth? Conception began when God began the beginning. Life rather began. Life began when God began the beginning. In the beginning, if we follow the biblical narrative, God had a logos, a thought, a word, a thought, a logos, an idea, a concept. And then God said, and life came into existence. God thought, spoke, and did, and life came into existence. And life, God breathes into the form, the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Not man became alive, man became a consciously aware being of itself, consciously aware of itself being a three-dimensional form. But life existed always within God because God itself is life. Okay? So life doesn't begin with conception or with birth. Life began when God began the beginning. And life never ends. The three-dimensional experience ends. The dream may end, but life is eternal. Because for life to end would mean God has an end. And God is eternal, infinite. Okay? So that whole argument, that especially centered around in today's society where, you have one side saying, well, life begins at conception, and another saying, well, no, it doesn't begin in conception. And it's centered around the idea of abortion. It has absolutely nothing to do with life. The whole idea of being pro-life or pro-choice is ridiculous because it has absolutely nothing to do with life. Life does not begin at conception. It does not begin at birth. Life began when God began the beginning. Life always is. And it doesn't cease because of abortion. Life is continuous. It is our concept, our human concept of what life is, that has created the whole argument, rowing against the current instead of merrily, recognizing that this experience is but a dream. Good question. Great question. In a really good conversation. My time is up for this conversation, but I would really like to continue it if you're interested. If you guys are interested in discussing this further and going deeper, I'd like to really take a moment and really examine some of the ideas and concepts by the ancient Gnostics and Gnosticism. Like I said, not the asceticism, is not all of that craziness about rules, regulations, dogma, and not the repudiation of and rejection of having things or wealth or any of those things, but just to simply examine. Okay, I see you guys responding. I see you. Thank you. But yeah, just to examine the principles upon which Gnosticism is really built. That whole idea of Doism, though that the divine becoming three-dimensional beings, the divine having a human experience, and what that means, and how this reality, what we call a reality, is not a reality at all, but a dream that we can manipulate and control. We can construct and deconstruct, reconstruct, configure it so that it aligns itself with our highest version of ourselves. Please understand, ladies and gentlemen, that life isn't happening to you, it happens for you. That it responds to you. Ooh, that's good right there. Let me use it that way. That life or the universe and all of nature responds to you. It doesn't happen to you. It's not attacking you. There is nothing that's fighting you. There's no enemy or boogeyman or demon or devil or witches and warlock, or some external force that's just out to get you. Got you. Ghosts and goblins and, Halloween kind of stuff. But life, this universe, this experience, all of nature, the spirit world, whatever terminology you want to use, responds to you. It responds to you. It responds like a giant copy machine, that whatever you put in, it replicates and reproduces it and gives it back to you, multiplied and accelerated. It responds to you. If you want a different result, you change the equation, you put a different sheet of paper in the copy machine, and it will replicate that piece that you put in there. It's going to reproduce and replicate the information that you feed it. So it responds to you. If you're not happy with the responses, then put something different in the machine. Slide something else into the system. You are the one who generates the energy that fuels the machine. You are the one who determines what's going to be fed into that copier and multiplied back to you. You are the contractor and the architect of your experience. Life, the universe, the spirit world, nature, the elements, everything is in concert responding to you. And you are living in the responses. You are living and experiencing the responses. You're not under attack. You don't have bad luck. You're not cursed. You are simply living in the responses to the seeds of causation that you initiate. You want a different crop? Plant a different seed. You want a different outcome? Change the equation. You want to replicate and reproduce something that you desire? Then give what you desire to replicate. Release it, let it go, put it into the universe, put it into the system, put it into the machine, and watch it replicate it back to you. Now, most of us understand this in theory and in concept, but we do not operate by it. We lose our conscious awareness of it as we become distracted by the day-to-day events of our lives, and we go about falling into old habits that we have been domesticated with from our childhood. And we go back to those and start getting those same old results again and again, and then wonder why, or get angry, or get frustrated and pissed off and want to fight and mad and feel like people are being unfair and life is not being fair to you and people are being mean, and so and that you got haters and this, that, and the other, and all of this stuff. And you start looking for someone to blame for your experience, when in fact, if you go right back to the source, what did you put in the copy machine? The universe is designed to give you exactly what you give in multiplied form. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It's your dream. It's your dream. It's just a dream, but it is your dream. So make it beautiful, not a nightmare. Or as I posted the other day, your life experience is the greatest project that you will ever work on. So take your time, be intentional, be deliberate, and create magic. Streamline your dreams so that they flow effortlessly in and out, giving you the experience that you desire. Align your thoughts, words, and deeds. Lord, I didn't even get a chance to really talk as much about that. It's not just your thoughts and words, but your deeds as well. Align your thoughts, words, and deeds harmoniously with that which you desire, your highest vision and version of yourself, the script that you have written for the dream, for the movie that is your life. Align your thoughts, words, and deeds with that script, and watch all of the actors necessary to play the parts that you've written for them show up and begin to live out that part, to play out the character that you've assigned to them. And if you stop at any point along that process, thought, words, and deeds, you get stuck there in a repetitive cycle. It's like a paper jam in the copy machine. Why isn't it shooting out what I put in? And you just want to hit it and bang it, when you have to go inside, internal, and fix the jam. Fix that paper jam, so it can begin to flow freely and begin to multiply what it is that you want to put in. You can't begin to multiply anything else until you fix the paper jam. You can't keep using the machine and skip over the paper jam and the machine will just work fine. No, you got to go back and do the internal work. Go inside, do the shadow work, and Release the machine by taking out the paper jams, removing those things that have stopped you along the process of your creation. You're stuck in the vision, or you are stuck in the words, or you are stuck in the deeds. Unclog the system so that it works freely and it can begin to create the lived experience that you want to have. I said I was stopping, and I'm still talking. And I see all of you responding yes, saying yes, we'd like to continue this conversation. We will definitely do so. We will definitely do so. Then we'll do a part 2 of this one, Life is But a Dream. And I really want to spend more time talking about that whole process of living the dream. How do you live the dream? How do you live the reality and experience the reality that you desire? And do you really have an earnest desire? And do you really have an earnest desire, or do you just have an idea? Ideas are formed out of desire. It is definitely formed out of desire, but is it a genuine, authentic desire, or is it a passing moment? Is it just an idea? Because a lot of the times people will have an idea, and it's a good idea, it's a wonderful concept, but they have no intention of following through with the words and the deeds that are necessary to cause the idea to become a manifested form. But that's a whole nother conversation. Like I said, we'll continue that in the next one. We'll continue that in the next one. I think this was a conversation worth having, and it's very intriguing, very important, very interesting. And I hope that you were empowered by it. I hope it sparked your curiosity. It raised other questions that you'll begin to investigate for yourself. Again, as always, don't have to take anything that I say as gospel and gold. Research and discover for yourself. Use the critical thinking that we talked about in our last lessons and arrive to your own conclusion that best serves you. Okay? We're almost at the end of the 90 days of abundance. Many of you, it appears that many of you have dropped out. I don't know that for a fact. I can just simply say from the data that there are very few, if any of you, participating in the morning meditation. I think the day before yesterday, no, it was on Wednesday, as well as Thursday, and then Friday, there were only about 2, maybe, people on the morning meditation, or 3. One time there was 3, but the third person was me, so I always show up. So in our morning meditation, I hope that doesn't mean that you have just given up and dropped out on the 90 days of abundance. This plan absolutely, positively guaranteed to work. I hope that you're doing the meditation and you're giving your focus to it later on in the day, and maybe just getting up that early was a little bit much of a challenge, and so you're doing it later in the day. Or that if you missed a day or you broke the cycle, that you have the tenacity, the courage, and the wherewithal to begin again, and that you're not just giving up. I hope that that's the case. I hope that that's the case, that there being just 2 or 3 of you that shows up for the meditation is just an anomaly. Yes, Kayla, thank you. I see that. She said, I meditate at night. It works better. She said, I meditate at night. It works better with my schedule, but I still practice. That's wonderful. Participate. That's wonderful. And I hope that that is the case with all of you that began with us and then have kind of dropped out of the morning meditation. Once this cycle, and there's only 2 cycles left after this one, we will reach the 70 mark this week, I think on Wednesday or Thursday. But once this cycle is complete, I am going to cease doing the morning meditation. It doesn't make sense for me to come on doing morning meditation and there's nobody here but me. Or, me and one other person. But the videos for the guided meditation will remain up on YouTube, and more specifically on the Emerge website. You can go over to the Emerge website. That's the email, I'm sorry. Here's the Emerge website, and go to empowerment, and the videos will remain there throughout the 90 days, and you can use them for your guided meditation, whether you're doing it in the afternoon or at night or at a different time that is more suitable. But after this cycle ends, either Wednesday or Thursday, I'm not sure which one it is, I'll have to look at it. It will mark 70 days that will have been completed, and then I will cease to do the morning meditation. But the videos will remain, and you can continue on your own. Those who are still participating and still working in this 90 days of abundance, I know, yeah, I get it. Some people can't join at 6 a.m. miles like me. I get it. That's why I said the videos will remain there, and you can do them at the time that is more convenient for you. Oh, okay. Diana says she's been doing it earlier, even at 5:30. That's fine. Okay. So the guided meditations remain there. Want you to continue. Whatever you do, don't give up. Don't quit. Even if you have to keep starting over, start over until you can get that 90 days succinctly straight through without a break, because I promise you it's going to work for you. It absolutely will work for you. Okay? Absolutely will work for you. All right. If you'd like to, and I'm encouraging you to give in support of this platform, then take a moment and do that right now or at your leisure, whenever you have the opportunity. But I encourage people to do it at this moment, because I know how busy the life can get, and you forget all about it until the next time that we come on. But take a moment, take advantage of the avenues through which you can give in support of the platform that's on your screen right now, and decide what you'd like to do by way of support, whether you're going to give your tithe, or you're going to give another type of offering, a sacrifice, a seed, or whatever that you're going to give. Make that decision for yourself, but do that at this moment. Your support shows, number one, your appreciation for this platform, how much you value, number two, this platform, and then number three, it helps to support the expansion of this platform. So I appreciate each and every one of you that regularly support, and those who do it sporadically as well. And then I appreciate those of you who are unable to do so or choose not to do so financially, but you support it with your thoughts or your prayers and your participation by showing up here to be a part of the empowerment sessions. Either way, whatever your support is, I want you to know I appreciate you, and I do not take it for granted. I'm grateful for each and every single one of you. Okay, so I got one more comment that just popped up. Let me see here. She says it's already working. Oh, and and when we reach the end of the 90 days, I am going to invite different ones to come on live with me and to just kind of share your experience, share your testimony, and what you've had to happen with you. Speaking of having a live guest come on, I am working to get my son to come on. I got to get him to agree to Isaac II to come on. He had a miraculous experience, and I don't want to tell his testimony. I don't want to tell his story, his narrative, but I'm going to see if I can convince him to come on live with me just for a moment and share what that experience was with all of you. I guarantee you that it'll bless you, empower you, and encourage you to learn about what that experience was. It was the reason that I missed our empowerment session Thursday before last because of that particular event taking place in his life. And so hopefully by this coming Thursday or maybe next Sunday, I'll be able to get him to come on momentarily and just kind of share with you what took place, and then I'll share from my perspective as well in the miraculous, absolutely positively nothing short of miraculous experience that he had. But yeah, at the end of the 90 days, I want you to share your testimonies as well about how the 90 days of abundance is working in your life, and you can see the material manifestation of the abundance in every part of your life. We're not just talking about money. Money is included, but in every part of your life. I want to hear your testimonies. I want to hear your thoughts and your experiences. Okay, so we've been on for an hour and 24 minutes, hour and 25 minutes now. So let's get off. It was only supposed to be for an hour, and we always seem to go over. Gloria would say, just go for 2 hours. Just go for the 2 hours. I don't know. I consider that from time to time. I just don't want to tire you. And I know people's attention span is not that long, and I don't want to overdo it. So I don't know. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Go out today having an absolutely wonderful and productive day. I want you to take a moment and be intentional about your giving throughout this day and all of this week, from this Sunday to next Sunday. Every day, make it your intention, your deliberation to give of yourself, give of your time, give your smile, give compliments, give help, give assistance, give money, give care, give understanding, give advice, give counsel, give love, give joy, but give. Be intentional, set your mind to look for opportunities for you to give and then actively participate. Okay? Kiwi says we're not on often, so 2 hours is good. You know that? Maybe. I don't know. Y'all let me think about it some more. All right, so make this the giving week. All right? You guys have a great rest of your day. I love you so much, and I appreciate each and every one of you.